What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. LexxExpress checking in with the official WWE 2k22 review. Now, before you guys get mad at me or you disagree with me, look, take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. If you agree with me, awesome. If you don't, it's okay. Sound off your opinion in the comment section, where we will continue to discuss the game going forward on this review and future streams. So no worries, it's okay. It's not that serious. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not going to have any music playing in the background. I'm not going to have any crazy cut in and cutouts. We're going to have gameplay in the background from the streams that I've done. And we're going to be talking about the things that I like in the game and the things that I wish were in the game or that didn't make it to the game. So basically the pros and cons. And then at the very end of the video, I will give you my score. Now, it's no secret that I've really thoroughly enjoyed WWE 2k22. I've had a blast since the game launched. It's already been the most played WWE 2K game that I've had in quite some time. And that is including 2K19, 18, 17, and beyond. So with that being said, if the game was bad, I wouldn't be on it. If I thought the game was not fun, I wouldn't be on it. It's just how I am. I can't force myself to play something, even if I'm getting views for it. I just can't. I've tried it in the past and it just doesn't work. So when you guys see me go live playing WWE 2K22, it's because I want to be there and I'm absolutely loving the experience. So people complained about Bray Wyatt not making the game. I want to talk about that to start this off. And look, Bray Wyatt could have been in the game because they had Braun Strowman, Tyler Breeze, Fandango, and other guys that got released a long time ago. And you know, it just doesn't make sense why they're in the game and Bray isn't. But look, at the end of the day, they are the ones that make this decision. And I'm not talking about just WWE 2K games. I'm talking about WWE themselves. All right? They wanted Daniel Bryan out of the game. They wanted Bray Wyatt, is what I assume, out of the game. So because of Bray Wyatt not being in the game, I can't just lower the score because of that. That doesn't make the game garbage. They give us all the tools possible for us to create him or at least download him. So the Fiend will make his way to the game at some point. A good Fiend. There's plenty of them right now to go by, and I haven't showed any of them on the streams because I'm not going to download one that doesn't look, boom, identical. Like, it needs to look exactly like how he does. And then let me address the other elephant in the room, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is my third favorite superstar of all time. So for him to not make it really hurts me, but it still didn't sour my experience. So because a wrestler doesn't make the cut, it's not going to make the game garbage for me. That's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people base their ratings on their emotions because some of their favorite stars didn't make the cut, or they release somebody. That's not the case with me. So I just want to make that, known. So now let's get into the cons. Let's bash the game a little bit and then we'll build our way into the pros. Let's start with the cons. These are some things that I noted while I played the game. It's not a long list, but it is a little bit of like having a bag of dirty laundry. You got to mention it. It's okay. You got to wash the clothes at some point, right? So here we go. The lack of depth in my GM is super disappointing, especially considering the fact that we've been begging for this mode for so long. You know, a lot of people felt like it was alarming to see that there was no information leading up to launch, and I see why they held back on giving us all the, the juicy bits and pieces of info. They gave us a ringside report, but the game was just around the corner. By then, everybody was pretty much, set on getting the game if you were looking forward to getting it from IGM. Now, I'm sure there were some people out there that canceled their pre-orders, but at least from the streams, a lot of people kept their pre-orders from what I saw. So the lack of depth really hampered the experience and the longevity of the mode. But there's always, the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like this was a perfect building block to build off of this going forward. I don't want them to, get discouraged and take the mode out. I want them to continue adding to it. I feel like there's a good base here to go by where you can still have fun. And what I said in my my prediction video where I was talking about my GM can still be fun, it has potential, I really truly meant that, and I still stand by that. I've done streams with viewers where I have taken control of one show and the viewers have taken control of the other one, and based on voting and feedback, we've put together, you know, this fun experience that wouldn't have been possible if my GM wasn't there with the couch co-op option. Now, I just don't like that Lionel Jinx said in one of the first interviews that you'd be able to invite somebody from your friends list, without realizing that not everyone's on PlayStation or on you know, on what is it, Steam or something, on PC, where you could invite friends into doing some sort of share play. Not everyone has that feature or has the internet to do that, you know, so the capability is not there. They were relying on, you know, the technology from other companies to kind of help them create that co-op experience via multiplayer and online, but that's not a logical way to think, honestly. So at the end of the day, if you don't have someone sitting right next to you, that co-op experience is just not there, right? And even then, when you look at the fact that there's only 2 titles, one for men, one for women, there's only 3 matches per show, except for the pay-per-views. You can't, like, the fact that you can't add more or take away is a problem. There's no real promos. Those are just basic things, you know. They need to give us the option to put more matches than just, you know, Hell in a Cell, Extreme Rules, TLC, and stuff like that. Like, they could have done far better than what they did. So ultimately, that's the way I see it. I look at it as something where it's like, man, it could have been this fun, crazy, epic mode where it was loaded with customization like Universe, but it just didn't live up to that. And it's okay, because I've still had a blast with it, and like I said, going forward, they could build on it. So for now, I guess it's okay. I got to give them the benefit of the doubt at the end of the day, because I'm still loving the game. So let's get into the next one. No new features for Universe besides solo superstar mode. So Universe mode is that sandbox mode where everyone loves to go in and go crazy, but they took off the promos on there, right? And they really truly didn't add anything groundbreaking for the mode. Now, this was a year where 2K built this game from the ground up, because Ukes left, you know, around the cycle for 2K20, and that's why that game ended up being what it was. It was just a big disaster. So in 2 years' time, they built this new game from zero. And yes, they brought in some animations and they brought in some things from the other games, but it still feels like a brand new experience. And we'll get to that a little later. But yeah, the fact that Universe mode is still pretty much the same, but they added the Superstar mode, it's satisfying, but I just feel like we could have gotten just a little bit more. Nothing too crazy, but just, I don't know, more enhancement features and animations and options for us to truly feel like it was a new experience. My faction, all right, so now let's get into my faction for the cons. My faction doesn't have an auction house. Now, I'm fine with my faction not being online. There's no problem with that. My faction can still be fun playing offline and grinding for cards. Hell, I've started to finally enjoy it, but the servers have had its issues, so I haven't been able to connect to it, unfortunately. But, you know, we're not going to rate the game based on its servers at launch, because we already knew that the servers were going to go crazy when everybody signed on at the same time. That happens with so many games. It's almost unavoidable at this point. So the server gets overwhelmed. We can't play online, so my faction becomes irrelevant, but whatever. Point is, they should have added an auction house. You know, they added the token market, which I thought that was cool, but they needed to have an auction house. It really, really sucks that you can't use your My Faction points towards like one superstar. You have to use it basically on packs. And the packs are like super expensive because they're trying to get you to put money into the game. So they kind of left us behind with no auction house, with the ability of honestly being able to truly get the superstar you're going for. Now, I remember when 2K first started doing My Team on NBA, they used to have like a stock market where cards will go up and down in value, and they would swap them out themselves. I think it was like a monthly or weekly basis. They could have done something similar to that in my faction. So the fact that there's no auction house, it really hampers the experience. But that's not to say that there's not enough features within the game to earn cards that you may want to enjoy having in your team, your faction. So a lot of potential, but they need to add auction house to my faction. So one thing that I will mention about the DLC is that they are not adding more showcase. And I was like begging and hoping that they were going to add more showcase, because they did it in the past. I think it was like maybe 2K17 or something like that. Or I don't know if it was 2K18. Maybe one of you guys can correct me here. But I remember them adding showcase via DLC. And I thought it was cool and smart for them to add something like that in the season pass. Kind of give you a little incentive to get the season pass and also play a story mode, to revisit a showcase within the story mode. So I thought that was a missed opportunity there. And, if the DLC wasn't going to include an extra showcase, even if it was just like 5 or 6 matches, I feel like the Rey Mysterio showcase should have then been a little bit longer. Because it took me a while to beat the Rey Mysterio showcase. Those 12 matches, man, it puts a lot of wear and tear on you. You really do spend a lot of time, trying to do all the moves and trying to complete all the tasks, because the computer's pretty darn good, even if you're playing on normal difficulty. It does get frustrating, but it's part of beating a game. So I feel like the Rey showcase needed to have the custody of Dominic. Like, that would have taken the showcase mode to the next level for me personally. I already know they couldn't do the Randy and Kurt Angle triple threat match, so that's okay. But you take out the Royal Rumble, you take out that triple threat with Kurt Angle and Randy. It's just unfortunate that they didn't add that Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio ladder match. It was such a crucial part of Rey Mysterio's career, because that feud with Eddie was just like they had some deep ties, So that was something I would have liked to have seen. Another thing too is that they took out classic themes like DX's theme, their animation, their theme song, Evolution, even Legend Killer Randy. When you have these wrestlers that have been there for a while and they have multiple theme songs, I feel like WWE owns most, if not all, of the theme songs that they have. So why not just have them in the game, period? Why can't we just have like at least 5 or 10, extra theme songs for us to use for our created characters or for stables that we're gonna, put together? It just doesn't make any sense to me why they wouldn't have the DX theme when they're actually in the game, except for badass Billy Gunn. So yeah, I don't get that. Still no live roster updates. We're not going to get any live roster updates. I feel like that was something that we all begged for. And, maybe not add new superstars, but, to change the wrestlers. Like, I know they give us the option to do so, but to change the traits, to change what brand the wrestlers on, to change their attire. Like, yes, they give us all these options in the customization suite for us to do it, but why can't they do it officially and put their stamp of approval on it, or at least have a content creator do it and then just say, hey, look, this is the official attire, and like make it permanent within the game or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like this is like the WWE universe continues to go at this rate where it's so fast, where the game comes out and it's outdated. And then we don't have online lobbies. I think that was something that I really wanted there, but we can't really complain too much about that, because I just really want for the online to be stable and the servers to work. That's more important than having lobbies. And then when you go back and you think about, new match types. They didn't add war games, which everyone asked for. But most importantly, they didn't add special guest referee, which is something I would have wanted. You know, it would have been cool for my GM to have the special guest referee. So not just for content creators, because having that in my GM would have been a cool feature to have for a special match, you know. So those are my cons. Those are my cons. Now it's time to turn up. Where's my belt? I don't know where my belt is right now. Here it is. The champ is here. We gotta bring out the strap because it's time to turn up. That was the little Debbie Downer part of the freaking review. Now we gotta, you know, we're 15 minutes into the video. We gotta turn it up a notch. We gotta wake up, get a drink. You know, let me take a sip of this. This little lemonade. Take a sip, grab some chips, get ready. Because now it's time to get to the fun part of the game. No more of that, oh, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, it could have been this. No. Now we're going to talk about everything that I absolutely love about the game. So we're going to start off with the fact that the game is loaded with so many game modes. Like, this is one of the deeper games when you combine all the modes together. They have a lot of shit to do here. All right, so you're going to be playing WWE 2k22 quite a bit. Even if you burn through all the modes, you're still going to get some nice playing time on this game. So, yeah, we already mentioned it. They got My GM. Even though it's not that deep, it's still a lot of fun. So, My GM, I'm killing it there, man. I've been playing a lot of My GM, loving it. All my friends, I know that they've been enjoying it as well. Then they got the Universe mode back, where it's still good, man. It's still a strong mode to play. And they added Superstar mode to that. So now you get to pick one star and basically march forward, you know, trying to protect your record, go for titles, and just have fun in a season style type mode. That's something that I really, really wanted. So considering the fact that they brought back My GM, they added Superstar mode, and then you want to talk about My Faction, the card collecting mode, I'm like, wow, they literally, you know, got everything from my wish list, except for the special guest referee. But, you know, they really got everything that I hoped for. And My Rise, I've had a blast with My Rise. So it's just been crazy because at first I was just on My GM. Then I started playing Superstar. And then I got into My Rise and between all that, and I'm like, wow, I could really mess with this. So they have the male character and the female character that you create, and each of them have like what, 25 hours worth of storytelling. So combined, you're looking at 50 hours total. I think that is phenomenal that we get to play for over 50 hours in a mode that's literally about you creating a wrestler. And the fact that they have different personas and different paths where you want to go good or bad, it has a lot of replayability. So, My Rise is a big dub. Showcase. Again, it's short and sweet. 12 matches only, but it does take some time. Even if you take, what, 10 minutes per match, you're still looking at 2 hours worth of playing time. It's not going to take you 10 minutes. Trust me. It definitely isn't. With how good the computer is at reversing, you're going to want to lower the difficulty. I kept that at normal, though. I wanted to make sure that I got the full experience and that I felt the difficulty of the matches. And I loved playing as Rey Mysterio. Playing as Rey Mysterio is so fun. They did such a good job, you know, helping you feel that you were truly Rey Mysterio against these gigantic people like JBL and Kane and Batista, so on and so forth. I feel like the Showcase was really, really well done with the cutscenes. You know, they showed the in-game cutscenes and then they cut to real life. Rey Mysterio was doing the voiceover, and it added, you know, like a little bit of emotion to the stories combined, and it was just awesome. So that online has leaderboards again. We got to celebrate that because sometimes they take out, you know, the leaderboards, and I'm glad it's there. They do have online lobbies, you know, even though it doesn't have like the chat. You know, what I meant to say is that earlier when I said a con, I don't know if you guys caught on to that, but when I said that there was no lobbies online, I meant to say that there's no like chat lobby like back in the day. There's lobbies now that like you or I can create a lobby and you join in. Yes, that's there. So that's what I'm celebrating, but I'm bothered that there's no like actual chat for the overall lobby. like back then. That's what I'm referring to. You get to host matches, but there's no real lobby like back in the day. I don't know. I just wish they would have brought it back. But yes, we got to celebrate the fact that there is lobbies, there's leaderboards, and we do have the creation suite back loaded, man. They have so many things there. When I was creating my superstar, I remember it took me so long. I was just like, my goodness, this is insane how deep it is, and how long you can spend just putting together a character. All the features that they gave us before is back and better than ever, I feel like. Now, they did take out like custom entrances, like the advanced custom entrances, and that's because it was probably causing issues with the new camera angle. And they also said that they took some things out from the creation suite because they wanted to make sure that the game didn't have the bugs that it had in the past. Not that they couldn't address it, but they wanted to avoid it and make a full-blown fun experience. And I think they achieved that. So despite no new match types, which everyone complains about, including myself, because they didn't have special guest referee or war games, or even the Inferno or Ambulance. You know, there's just so many matches in WWE's history that we could mention here, but there's no point, because I just want them to give us a good playable game and then focus on adding matches when the game is, you know, stable, up and running. And I feel like now going forward, we could beg for that special guest referee and that War Games match that we've been dying for, because this year the game has been really, really exciting to play. So despite no new match types, what I wanted to say is that there's so many to go around regardless that it never truly gets bored, at least not for me. You know, the more people you add, the more chaotic it is, but the game still runs perfectly. You know, perfectly considering that it's a wrestling game and there's a bunch of crazy shit going on with the ropes and the physics of the weapons and things like that. So take what I said with definitely with a grain of salt, because you do see some crazy shit pop off when it gets really chaotic. But you know, you got the ladder matches, the TLCs, the Extreme Rules, the Hell in the Cell, the cage matches back. You got the, you know, the 4v4, what else? The 3v3s, and then you add those stipulations to the matches. So there's a lot of fun within those types of matches, in my opinion. Keep that in mind. So let me scroll down here. There's up to 8 players online, which is cool because they've also lowered that number before. So the fact that we have 8 players, I'm happy about that. And it ran pretty good when the server was up and running. I had a lot of fun online. Actually, this gameplay that I showed you guys here is from an online match that we were having yesterday on stream live. All right, so what else we got? Customization still remains as one of the best, most deepest features in any game. Just not just wrestling, but in any game. The customization features are amazing. You know, and even though I'm not really big into customizing and creating characters, the fact that I could go online and download all your awesome creations, that's all I could ever ask for. That's how you keep the roster updated. That's how you get wrestlers that are in other companies. So I'm happy as hell. My GM, even though it doesn't have online multiplayer, it does have couch co-op. So the fact that the couch co-op feature is there, it you know, you could do the share play if you're on PlayStation, like I mentioned earlier, which is cool, but sucky for people that are on Xbox and playing it maybe, I think, on Steam. I'm not sure if they have that same feature actually. But either way, the fact that they gave us that as an option, I think that is super awesome. My GM co-op is a blast. What else we got? Amazing graphics. How about the graphics, guys? Let's finally jump into the graphics. I was talking about all these other things, but let's talk about the graphics. The freaking entrances are 10 out of 10. Like, the attention to detail on the attires, like the different materials and just, you know, the textures and the lighting, the environment. Like, I remember doing the showcase for Rey Mysterio and being blown away, or playing in the NWO arena. Like, I was just like, whoa. You could tell the difference between the newer arenas, and the style of it is not only different, but the environment, you feel it. You feel the change. So I really, really like that the graphics are just the best it's ever been in this series, and it's comparable to some of the best looking games right now today. So the graphics, top notch. Now we got the revamp gameplay. Don't even get me started. A lot of people are like, oh, I've seen a lot of people say that it's way too simple, and then I've also seen some people say that it's too complicated. So the way I see it, the combos are pretty basic. Everyone pretty much has the same combos, right? But it gets a little deeper when you combine the grapple and the light, the light grapple combo where you go up, down, left, right. So there's like 8 different combinations you could do there, between heavy and light, that is. They simplified it, but they also kept it deep for some of the older fans that are used to, being able to kind of customize your move set, and also go for different moves. I like the submission system. I think it's dope. I like the button mashing for the pin system as well. That's me right there playing as Stone Cold, eliminating Shawn Michaels. So there was a lot of things in the game this year that I was just like, wow, like they really did right. They really did. And we didn't even talk about how universe mode, not universe mode, sorry, my GM has spectator mode, which I've also thoroughly enjoyed that. So the gameplay, it's like the perfect combination between simulation and arcade. It's not full-blown arcade, but it's somewhere in between sim and arcade. It's not full-blown sim, not full-blown arcade. It's somewhere in the middle, in like a little gray area. They really mastered the gameplay with this one, in my opinion. Custom renders. All right, back to the whole creation suite talk. I said suite, like the creation suite now offers custom renders, which you can keep your roster looking proper. You don't gotta have a created character doing the little. Like, you can actually put a picture of a superstar in that slot to make the poll screen look legit, and I love it. I absolutely love it. When you're going through the menus, it looks proper. It looks like it's meant to be there. It's not the little. So I'm really happy about the custom renders, and you get to add that to the current superstars as well, keeping them up to date. So, with that and all the other stuff that I mentioned, guys, I've just been killing it. I'm telling y'all, man, it's just been it's been amazing. What an experience. WWE 2k22 so far has not disappointed, in my opinion. I feel like it truly does hit different. In the entertainment industry, there's a lot of slogans and models and catchphrases. And most of the time, it's just like a marketing point where it doesn't truly live up to that, moniker. But I feel like with WWE 2k22, these people really knew what they were going for, and they achieved that, right? And I feel like that's what hurt my GM and some of the stuff they took out, and the fact that they didn't add other stuff that we would have wanted. It's because they focused on giving us this amazing, smooth, flawless, playable experience, or with minimal flaws. After 2K20, they needed to make sure that this game was going to be all out fun, and that's exactly what I feel. I've had just, words can't explain, man. You got to see it for yourself on stream. It's been a blast. I promise you. I'm not kidding. This shit has been super exciting. So, yes, it does hit different. To answer your question, it does hit different. It truly does. And after giving it some thought, sitting down, reading my notes, and just hanging out with you guys here for almost 30 minutes talking about one of the most anticipated games on my list for this year, I gotta give WWE 2K22 an 8.5. That's my final score. Now, I wish I would have given it more like an 8.75, but I don't want to do that in-between stuff because I'm already doing that halfway point of 8.5. I don't think the game is an 8, and I don't think the game is a 9. My cons, that list of cons that I mentioned earlier in the video, that's what knocked it down 1.5 points for me. I can't give this game a 9 when it's missing some simple stuff that's crucial to a wrestling game, and when they don't add things that we've been begging for, right? So when you take out the DX theme and you don't add the, what is it, the special guest referee, LexxExpress is gonna take away a point from you. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm just trying to put my thoughts together here to close out the video. 8.5. I stand by it. I truly do. It's been exciting, and it's been a breath of fresh air. So I have repeated the word fun in this video so many times that it's about that time I go have that much fun again and go play some WWE 2k22. So I'm out of here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I tried being as detailed as I possibly could. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. If you made it this far, then drop a like, man. Subscribe to the channel. Don't miss out on another video. I am out of here. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out, guys. Let's go.